In this episode of reDefine, we talk with Tyler Stableford, one of the top adventure photographers in the world as ranked by Men's Journal magazine and director of the award-winning film, The Fall Line. We met up in New York City to discuss some of his more hazardous experiences, such as photographing at extreme G-forces and shooting while on the bouncing floor of a coal mine 9 stories underground.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Adorama, the photography people, and T1 Line, the voice and data solution experts. Joining us today is Tyler Stableford.
Hi, Tamara.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here in New York City.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
When you're doing these projects, do you kind of find that you stay on them and then move through like the fighter pilots?
Right.
Yeah. Tell us a little about the fighter pilots.
Yeah, the fighter pilots. That was an outstanding project. It was
images.
Yeah, it was really fun. And that was a piece that I pitched to 5280 magazine in Denver. It's a Denver regional magazine. It's been just a really fun process. I got to fly in an F-16 for 90 minutes with 5 jets over the Rocky Mountains.
It goes like 30, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah, maybe 45. Yeah.
What is it? What did you get up to?
So I don't know in terms of the speed. I definitely got rocked by the G-forces, and you can see that in the film on my website. My pilot absolutely just nailed me with G-forces. A complete surprise. I was holding one camera completely loose in the cockpit. It's a live cockpit, and so there's the ejection handle. If you pull that, we both go out, and who knows where the plane goes, and everything moves, and this, that, and the other. So I had to have no straps on my camera. So I had 2 in an open bag by my hip, and then 1 holding loose. And I figured that the pilot promised he would go easy on me since I had these cameras loose, and they could cause a lot of damage flying around and doing this, that, and the other.
On your head.
Yeah, and I had asked, we had to do a lot of upside-down maneuvers, which I wanted for photos. I had a very carefully kind of scripted moves of what I wanted to do with us upside down with 4 jets in formation below us and such, and us in the foreground, however we could do that. And he said, fine, we'll take it easy. We'll do everything we need to do, but we won't go too hard. And just kind of like a NASCAR driver, 2 seconds into takeoff, he just nailed me, and we hit almost 8 G-forces, which is quite uncomfortable in its own way, and I almost blacked out. And
so you're up in the air, but you're also like super low on the ground. Coal miner.
Yeah, so I was a mountaineer and a rock climber long before I was a photographer.
Right.
And I apply that principles or those aesthetics to our photography and our cinematography a lot, in the sense that you can only put so much gear in your backpack before you're way down and you fail to make the summit. And so that's kind of the aesthetic I apply to our heavy industry photography. So
you pack very lightly.
So I've spent about 8 or 9 days deep underground with coal miners in western Colorado, about 2,000 to 2,500 feet underground in tunnels that are 4 miles long. No, a lot of times we're working just with Canon speedlights, and we have a new behind-the-scenes video on our website that just launched this week on a commercial shoot we did for Timberland work boots in a coal mine, and it shows us working with. We brought 6 speedlights, and we used 3 at a time. 3 or 4 at a time to light them, simply because they're the best, the best tools for the job for working quickly in an active mine where stuff has to get hauled out in 2 seconds before some equipment comes in or things have to move.
Did you feel claustrophobic?
It wasn't the claustrophobic that scared me so much as the reverberations. Coal is formed by incredible heat and pressure over the years, and so that pressure is still very much there. So as they mine, there's great settling and what's called bouncing, where the floor comes up a bit. It's not so much the ceiling in danger of collapsing, but the floor and the incredible pressure pushing up. And so that causes things to pop from the walls. Coal can pop out from the walls and things. It's very much a living, active beast in there. So it's disconcerting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, my ground's not supposed to move like this.
Yes, it's not. Yeah.
And how long were you in there?
I've spent a total of, I think it's 9 days or so underground. Yeah, over various projects. 5 of them first for a couple of editorial projects, and then most recently for some commercial projects as well. So it's been exciting. I always look forward to going back.
Fall Line.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, that's playing in festivals everywhere.
Yes,
how did that originate?
It's had a wonderful tour with a number of film festivals around the world. It's touring with the Banff Mountain Film Festival World Tour, Telluride Mountain Film.
Such an ugly place up there.
Yes, it is. Yeah, no, it was a wonderful trip up there last year, and a number of other film festivals. We've been fortunate to win a number of awards and such. So it's a 13-minute piece on a wounded warrior named Heath Calhoun, who's a 101st Airborne Army Ranger.
As a cinematographer now.
Yeah.
How do you most identify yourself now?
That's a good question.
Me too, but
I'm not sure. That's a funny question. If I think about it too deeply, it definitely in our brandings as a business, we definitely brand our company as being able to produce world-class level stills and video. And so, as a former journalist and photojournalist and magazine editor, I've spent most of a decade before becoming a full-time photographer honing and crafting a sense of story, and so that's been very important. It's fun to return to that after shooting just stills for a while, to come back to my journalistic roots and tell stories, with visuals,
with
audio,
words.
Words, voiceovers, and the moving images themselves. So that's been really fun. Yeah, so it's a great return. I could say in some ways I was plateauing in a sense with stills photography, and that my learning curve was slowing down.
Yeah.
And then now moving to cinematography with all there is to learn, I feel like I'm on one of the steepest learning curves of my entire life.
Right.
And that's fun, in my mid-30s to be doing that.
And that's the thing, when you start getting into cinematography, you realize audio is like a whole new beast.
Yes, audio is a whole new beast, yes.
As you can hear the sounds
music,
behind us.
Yes.
Which we couldn't control.
Yes, which we can't control. Yeah, it's New York, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a little
bustling.
bustling.
It's bustling.
Yes,
we're actually piping that in. That's room tone that we're adding.
Yeah.
So in terms of that steep learning curve, it's not just now telling story, but it's visual framing, which you're already doing, but it's narrative, and it's connecting audio, and it's scoring, and it's everything, and that's a challenge and exciting.
It's a challenge, and it's so much more of a collaborative process, I've found, than shooting stills, in the sense that I lean heavily on my video editor, Dave Ruck, is a person in Denver I work closely with, and he's incredibly talented. He's about 40 years old, and he's spent the last 25 years of his life pretty much every day living in moving images and storytelling and such, and so he brings just a huge wealth of knowledge and experience to our storytelling capabilities that I don't have.
Your photographs of Ethiopia, we have this in common.
Yes.
We both have adopted children from Ethiopia.
Yeah, it was fun to learn.
Tell us about that experience, photographing in Ethiopia.
Sure. This was a really meaningful project in my life. Before my wife and I traveled to Ethiopia to adopt our son Sam, this was a few years ago, we were really connected to the agency that we were adopting from, called Wide Horizons for Children. And the reason we chose to adopt through them was because they have a very large humanitarian aid program. It's non-denominational, and they're deeply committed to keeping orphan children in their home communities. So I decided to shoot a documentary. This was pretty much the same week that the 5D Mark II came out. So I bought 2 cameras retail. I couldn't get them from Canon on that short notice, and went and shot for a week about the humanitarian aid work that they're doing there.
Right.
And that was just a tremendous experience for me. It was my first time working with the 5D camera as a full-fledged documentary shoot. I had worked with the 5D a couple of months before doing some promos for Canon, so I had an idea of the power of the camera. I consider volunteering to be a very selfish pursuit, and I think it should be, because that's where it's most sustainable. And not say, oh boy, I feel like I should volunteer today with my camera or whatever. But I thought about what I can do most as an individual, and I'm better, not ladling soup into a bowl or digging a ditch. I'm most valuable with a camera in my hand, so I can help raise a lot of money that way. That's what I do for a living, is shoot more or less marketing photos. So I said, great, I can volunteer some of my time to do some fundraiser documentary styles for various nonprofits. And I'll say, honestly, Tamara, they're the most meaningful and fun projects that we do all year. It just connects us to stories and to people that I don't normally get connected to when I'm shooting a marketing campaign for a clothing company or something like that. So it's a real fun for us. So very selfishly, it's one of the best things that we ever do.
Because you get to meet really cool people.
You get to
feel good.
We get to feel good.
You get to use your talent to inspire people to take action.
And we get to experiment with our talents, because we can make mistakes and experiment when no one's paying us a lot of money to do exactly what they want. And so that's a really fun time. It's a time for us to figure out new technology, or for my 2 assistants to come in and step in as first camera and experiment with stuff. And so it's a really fun time that way.
Yeah.
When we do produce some portfolio work out of it as well. We get to say this is something that we really want to try to go for. So I mean that not just in giving back, but selfishly and professionally, it's a great thing, and that's why I encourage other people to do it. I think you'll find that, particularly for those starting out in the business, they say, well, I need some new. How do I get some great stories? So I'm getting into DSLR video, right? Well, I need a story, and you do for DSLR video if you want your piece to stand out. Well, connect with a nonprofit. Every single one has a pretty darn compelling story to share.
And usually a crap budget.
Yes, and usually a crap budget, and they'll probably be happy for you to bring your vision and whatever it is in.
Exactly.
That way, so.
Well, tell everybody where we can find out more, especially on your website exactly, to see the clips and Twitter, Facebook.
Yes, yeah, my website is tylerstableford.com. Just this week we launched a brand new, supersized, improved site. We have a whole host of videos and stills on there. We have a blog, it's tylerstableford.com/blog that has a range of information, has downloads on some of my Photoshop and Lightroom workflows, some of my workflows with the Canon 5D cameras and such,
awesome.
And also a link to a number of the workshops that I'm teaching for Canon and Adobe around the country, and
perfect.
Actually around the world. We'll be going to Southeast Asia for a number of tours for Canon as well this year. So, that would be Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam, and one other that I can't remember. Yes.
India?
Not India. Yes.
Nepal.
Yes. It'll come to me in another place. Yes.
We'll edit it in.
Yes.
I was like, Laos.
Yes.
I couldn't think of a country for a second.
Yeah.
And then on Twitter, it's Tyler Stableford.
Yes. Thank you.
And Facebook, same thing?
Yes.
Okay,
Tyler
perfect.
Stableford Photography on Facebook.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you very much.
Tamara, thank you very much for your time. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Keep giving. Looking forward to seeing your next set of adventures, Tyler. Join us next time while we sit down with the controversial Scott Bourne in his Las Vegas studio. While you're waiting for that, though, load up your gear and hit the outdoors with your Click Elite Volt backpack. This rugged pack is specifically designed for long backcountry treks. It's easy to carry and has tons of storage features. And leave your tripod at home. You can mount a camera, a light, even an umbrella to the metal handle. You can buy the Volt at adorama.com.
Special thanks to our sponsors Adorama, the photography people, and T1 Line, the voice and data solution experts.